Hi there, Garrett coming to you live from the Music Zoo today with two guests. First up, we have your friend and my boss, Tommy Colletti.
Hello.
And we also have the new EVH 78 Eruption from their Striped Series. So first up, a little bit about the Striped Series from the EVH line, which has been one of our best-selling electric guitars here at the Music Zoo.
Absolutely.
For quite a number of years, right? Yeah. So they've made a couple different versions of different guitars over the years. The black and yellow with the humbucker and the Floyd, the white and black configuration with the Floyd. They also did the red, white, and black, no?
Correct, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
They did the 5150 with the banana headstock.
Right.
Most recently, they did the Frankie, which was a really huge success. Really cool guitar.
Shark.
The Shark as well, can't forget that one, another cool one. So on the heels of that, we have the 78 Eruption from their facility in Ensenada, Mexico, which is a really awesome guitar at a very attainable price. And this is the guitar from the cover of the first record, no?
It is.
Right.
So this is like, it's interesting because as we were starting to talk about this guitar and it came in and it brings all sorts of stuff up, and because I'm a Eddie
Notoriously,
maniac,
right?
Notoriously an Eddie maniac. There was actually a photo shoot, the original photo shoot, when like Eddie's holding the guitar and it's shaking, and you could see that on the cover of the Van Halen one.
Right.
He actually did a photo shoot, the same photo shoot with a Les Paul Jr. too. So it was like a 57 or 56 Jr.
Right.
So like all of history could have been completely changed had like the album cover been released with a Les Paul Jr. as opposed to what we all know is this guitar and then the Frankenstein, and like just changed history entirely by just like somebody won't. I think that guitar would be better on the cover, you know. But it led people like me to see that guitar and just try to figure out exactly what was happening, because that was it was like seeing a UFO at that point,
like a nuclear bomb on the rock scene.
It was a nuclear bomb. Like first of all, the album was unbelievable, and then it did a lot of things. So like, as a rock fan, you just celebrate that this album is out, because it's just, you know, at least for me, I could name certain records that came out that I'm just like, oh my God, this is so good. Like you don't know what to do with yourself, right? And that was certainly one of them. And for me, I was a guitar player too. So what unfortunately happened for me is I had that like hallelujah moment where this was like the greatest thing I've ever heard.
But then the bar is now.
And then the following moment where I was just like, I'll never get there. Like, who is, you know? Like, it just seemed so. And then as you started doing more reading about Eddie, and you find out he's 21, and just a genius. So
the whole thing.
So this is exciting for me. And you know, like, and I would assume every Van Halen guitar player fan, and it does what it's supposed to do, which we'll get into.
Yeah, momentarily. So the specs on this guitar are a basswood body with this nice white and black stripe finish over it. You have a quarter sawn maple neck, a brass nut with these EVH kind of Schaller styled tuners, a 12 to 16 compound radius with 61 million fret size on it. You have a strap bridge, EVH Wolfgang pickup, a single volume control with a treble bleed circuit with the tone knob on it, single ply pickguard. Really cool feature that you're seeing on a lot of guitars recently is that heel adjust for the truss rod. Again, made in Ensenada, Mexico, which has been turning out some of the most high quality guitars the last 10 or 20 years.
Sure. They just did the Frankie.
They do all the other Striped Series guitars. Yep. So yeah, really excited to see this one come to fruition.
Me too.
For sure. So here we're both holding these new Striped Series guitars, but for those of you that might be eagle-eyed in the audience, you might notice something really cool in the background. And that would be a limited edition guitar, highly limited edition guitar from a couple of years ago, the Super Eruption that EVH released. So we're going to do a quick comparison between this guitar and that.
So this is the Super 78. And the Super 78, there was actually just 8 made. This happens to be number 7. Lucky number 7. And this was master built by Chip under Ed and Matt Bruck's like tutelage, basically going through. They had the original neck and a ton of pictures, and really made sure that they got the guitar perfect.
Right, and Chip had done the Frankenstein as well, and the Bumblebee, right?
Correct, yes.
Longtime friend of the Music Zoo. What up, Chip?
What up,
How you
Chip?
doing?
And Mary.
And Mary.
And this guitar really so it's good that we have the both of them together, and you can see actually how close that they are, considering the value of this thing.
Yes.
And then, like how reasonably you could get into this guitar.
Yep.
They both do the same thing and accomplish the same goals and ed trip and everything that you want. There were things that were done to this guitar that actually you can do to this very simply, and Fender has released a video with Chip that explains everything on how to do what Eddie did to stay in tune.
Right.
And it's a big part of the thing, so you got to go back in time, pre-internet, all these things.
Pre-locking tremolo.
Pre-Floyd Roses and locking tremolos, right? And it was a big, it still perplexes me that he was able to come up with all this stuff. But so one of the things, and the video explains all this stuff, is that the strings were actually wound up the peg as opposed to down the peg. So the first 4 strings with the wound strings were wound up the peg to get more of a shallow angle and a better straight string pull, so there was less hang up on the nut. And then the nut slots are actually cut really wide. And he would take, which came with this guitar, a can of 3-in-1 oil, and just literally put oil in each one of the slots. I don't know if he did it like in the beginning of a gig or like actually halfway through a set. He just kind of like squirted some. I don't know exactly.
During the drum solo?
Yeah, during the drum solo, he went back and squirted it. But so he would do that also when he was winding the strings. He would actually hold the ball of the string, and as he was winding the peg, he would turn the string so there isn't too much tension as you're winding the string.
Right.
So between that trick, the trick of the wide slots with the oil, the winding the strings up, and then I think the last thing was he was actually loosening the screws on the bridge a little bit. So the 2 outside screws were loosened a certain amount, and then the inner 4 were actually loosened even a little bit more.
Right, to get almost like a 2-point action on the tremolo.
And the one thing that Fender is doing is Fender's sending these guitars out with the bridge nailed to the body, which was a big thing for Ed, because Ed would play with his hand on the bridge. Right. And it couldn't, if it was up, it would sound like a warped record.
The bridge is decked, so to speak.
The bridge is decked, right. And this has the same brass block as that. In fact, that block looks even bigger to me than this, maybe by a little bit. But all those tricks are what kept him in tune. And even more interestingly, which I find even more mind-blowing, is that he knew the guitar would go out of tune at times. Like if you listen to like live footage of any point before he had a Floyd Rose, there were moments in those sets where you'd be tuning, or you could hear like the guitar was a little loud, and he found that he could either hit the trem really quick, and just like do a little dive bomb and like lift it back up and it would reset, or if the B or the E went sharp, he would just do a lick and like overbend the string to flatten it. So now you take that all into account, and then think of the first record where he was playing this guitar, and moments where like he's dive bombing like Ice Cream Man or one of those songs, and then maybe doing one of those overbends in the solo to straighten the guitar, to correct the guitar out. So he's not only thinking to be musical and coming up with these like incredible guitar solos, but also is adjusting himself as he's going to keep the guitar in tune. It's just it's so out there and so advanced. And again, at 21 years old to do this, it's just mind blowing to me still to this day. And that's why 42 years later, 44, whatever it is.
Still excited?
We're still talking about it. I'm still excited. I listened to Van Halen 1 on the way here today. I was just as excited. I was like, can't wait to talk about this.
You had to get yourself in the mindset.
I wanted to listen to it. And I get that same feeling when I was a kid and listened to that record, for better or worse, you know, and for me now, it's just like, I went down this road of becoming playing the guitar, and I became a music retailer, and it's just like, if I only didn't listen to this record, maybe I'd be a surgeon or something. Instead, I sell guitars.
You and me both.
So here we are. You know? So here we are. But like, it was that moment where it was the greatest thing in the world, and it was like, oh, music.
Gotta try harder.
Right. Yeah. Next life.
Yep.
But that's it. It's really exciting. And Chip Master built this. I don't know if I said that. The specs are very similar. The neck to me feels a little thinner on this. Maybe we could probably measure it and put it up for you guys to see exactly what the difference is. But they're very close. And this one, I mean, it's 1 of 8. So, and the deal with these is that he played Eruption on each guitar.
Right.
And they videoed each guitar, and you get the video. It's a thumb drive you get with the guitar, and you're sworn to secrecy and to never release it. And it's never been, thankfully. Yeah, I think you get in a lot of trouble if you release it, but it's pretty dope.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a quick run through of what the sort of similarities and slight differences are in these guitars. As you can see, the stripe pattern we were just commenting is very similar. They really nailed it. The folks at that facility in Sonata are getting better and better at what they do. So probably what you're missing is a little bit of relicking on the bridge. No? Some relicking on the pickup bobbins. The tone knob's a little aged on this one as opposed to this tone knob. You got the single ply guard. You got that top mounted jack input ferrule. So you are missing the eye hooks on the import guitar, which is easily fixable. Yeah. So then on the back, as you can see that we just mentioned earlier, you have a brass block on both. This one has the sort of raw wood routed out on the back as opposed to the finish here, which I think that's a really cool touch. Up the maple neck, you have Schaller tuners on this one as opposed to the EVH brand, which are the Schaller style. Pretty cool. Again, like I mentioned earlier, you got brass nut on each of them, string tree on each of them. This one does have the EVH logo, which is absent from this one for historical accuracy.
The string tree might be a little bit higher on this one.
Yeah, it looks like, there's 2 ferrules under there. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, so
again, you know, like just...
Quick fix there.
Quick fix.
Slight bird's eye to the neck, which maybe wouldn't be a quick fix on this one. And obviously this has the vintage style truss rod adjustment where the neck would have to come off for it.
Right.
And we were speculating about the inlays on this one. These appear to be a black material while this is a wood.
Could be walnut,
rosewood, something along those lines. But considering that this guitar and that guitar have such a wide difference in price, I mean, a pair of Mercedes and this equal out to about the value of this guitar. So kind of an easy equation for me, at least. So we stock this and all the other EVH Striped Series guitars here at the Music Zoo. They're really great. I implore you to check them out if you have not done so already. Thanks for watching this video. The video about the string of the guitar that he mentioned is there in the comments. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on our socials at the Music Zoo. See you on the next one.
Take care.